Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to yet another video. And yes, I know I haven't uploaded in a while, and I told you that I would keep my promise on uploading videos, but I can't always fulfill my promises. Before you watch me here MLG destroy everybody with me in North Star, I just want to tell you guys about a little story of I'd like to call the testing story, or as I would like to call it, the absolutely agonizing nipple flaccidness story, honestly. Oh yeah, I gotta love that kill streak. The thing about it is, I can tell you one thing is, I honestly couldn't stand that happening in the last couple of weeks. Freaking PSATs, dude. Now, for some of you that don't know, the PSATs is essentially kind of a younger version of the SAT that takes half the amount of time. It isn't as hard as the SATs and isn't, you don't have to study for completely random information. Now you're probably wondering, history, what are you talking about stuff you want to complain about? Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to tell you the story of just kind of the experience that I felt when I was in the testing room that we were doing. So it was a crisp Wednesday, October morning. It wasn't so bad, you know, it was kind of peaceful, you know, it wasn't so bad. Got up, didn't eat breakfast because I don't eat breakfast for some reason, because I have zero time in the morning to eat breakfast because I take showers in the morning. So I get up, I brush my teeth, take my shower, get my lunch, my backpack, everything. I get on the bus, and the funniest thing about it is, the bus actually goes completely past my house. Not even joking, literally completely avoids my house. And the funniest thing about it is, it was a surprisingly good effort. And then I had to wait another 5 minutes for the bus to come back. Finally I get to school about 10 minutes later than I normally do. And trust me, it is absolutely embarrassing getting to school when it's absolutely late, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, hip school, yeah, where are you at, yeah." It was like, listen, I was on a bus, and listen, my nipples got real flaccid, so let's just continue on. So what they basically did is that they had 3 rooms that were all the main rooms, like for history, math, and science, and they all had us listed out by last name, and I was in the first class. The thing about it is that when they had us in the testing room, a lot of my friends were in the first class, surprisingly, except I couldn't sit next to them because a lot of them were completely randomized and completely kind of just sat next to each other, and there was a seating chart too. So we finally get all settled in, and then they give us our test booklets, and then the guy that's the proctor or whoever it is, like the guy who's teaching the test, was one of the agriculture teachers from from high school. And trust me, every word that this guy said, this guy sounded like he was so bored with his life, he literally wants to die. He spoke in like the most monotone voice possible. He's like, "Yes, the PSAT test is a test that is a standardized test that should be taken very seriously." He didn't even sound like a real human being. He just sounded like a complete robot. And trust me, it wasn't all that terrible. And the thing about it is, if you really boil down to it, the SATs or PSATs, it's essentially the same thing. PSATs is basically just a test that shows you how idiotic you are, essentially. And the thing about it is, I love about this test is that it's kind of funny how it doesn't really go as a grade, but it also kind of shows you what classes you're going to be for high school, which is probably the stupidest thing about the test, because it basically says what kind of classes you're going to be going into in high school. And thankfully I did study a bit for it, but honestly I think studying for standardized tests is pretty useless because a lot of it is stuff that they don't even teach in school, so like what's even the point? But I don't know. People will like what they choose. So anyway, back to the nipple milk. I like to talk about what I personally thought about the test, and just to truth be honest, it wasn't all that terrible, honestly. It was just like the experience I had there. So the whole test, basically, they gave us this little booklet thing. It's like, oh, they fill out our name, you know, like our email and phone number and all this crap. I'm like, okay, well, this is pretty useful information. Then they're like asking you for like what religion you are, like what race you are, like all this crap. It's like, what does this have anything to do with the test? It's like, oh, if I'm African American, does that mean I'll get a lower grade on the test? Because honestly, I consider that pretty racist, sir. Oh wait, no. Here's the thing, is that if I thought to myself, if I got to a woman with a fight, I wouldn't win because I'd be considered sexist, so heh. So the thing about it is, continuing on with the test, it's like a lot of it was completely useless information that you don't even really need to know, and it was honestly kind of weird. So then I filled out the stuff. Yes, I am a white and Indian bred man. Yes, I know. I think everybody in the United States is somewhat Native American, unless you're like those super white kids. All they do is that they want to be Eminem, which, oh my god, that just was 2004, right in the slap in the face. I really need to get out more, honestly. I don't know about today's memes. I don't know that much about today's memes. I have salty memes from 2007. Continuing on, the test really wasn't that horrible, honestly. It was just the experience I kind of had. So the whole test was basically divided up into 2 halves, and one half had 2 sections. So the first half was English, which was probably the easiest part of the test. Like, I didn't even really need to try with English. It was that easy. So another thing I also hate about the test is that they gave you almost no time to work on it. Like, they only gave you about 45 minutes for one section, and they basically had us sitting in the same room for like 4 hours straight, and it was an absolute nightmare, because I have kind of a bit of claustrophobia, somewhat. I mean, like, I don't act like it's a big deal or nothing, but I do have a slight case of claustrophobia where if I am in a small room for a while, I get kind of antsy a bit. I don't get, like, anxiety or, I'm bipolar, don't come near me. I don't want attention syndrome. I just get kind of antsy and just, it's like, oh my god, I want to get out of this freaking room. Please help me. I want to die. So finally, we started doing with English. Like, the guy, basically, like, the proctor and everything. So I got to sit next to, like, two of the most annoying kids in my grade. And I was like, okay, maybe if I just, like, mind my own business, maybe they'll do it. But the kid sitting in front of me at my table, he keeps making, like, about noises like that, and he did that for practically the whole test, and it wasn't like super loud, like where you can hear it like on the other side of the room. It was loud enough to where you can hear it about 2 or 3 feet away from you, and he did this for practically the whole test. It was so annoying. It's like, please shut up. I'm trying to take a standardized test that all it does is stress me out a bit. That's fine if you want to make noises, but please, I'm trying to take a test. Please take a test. All right. Excuse me for my little tantrum there. Basically what I thought about is that it's like, dude, please shut up. I'm trying to take a test, please. And then finally, when the first section ends, he lets us have a break and go to the bathroom and whatever. And then I say to my friend, hey, bro, how much you want about what that guy's name? Like, I thought to myself, hey, yo, I wonder what that guy's name is. His name's probably like Matt or something. Like, I don't know. That guy was so boring. It's like, how much would I bet that guy's name's like Matt or Pat or Patrick or something? That guy's name was just so weird. I didn't even ask his name. Like, and then finally the second section happened. You know, it was pretty easy. Like, what they had us do is that they basically were like, oh, like would you put a semicolon or put a comma in this question? You know, easy stuff. And then finally that section was over, and they barely gave us any time, and it had like, what, like 27 questions on it. And the thing about it is, I kind of hated about it, was they gave us 0 time to work on it. So finally, when we got done with it, I got done with it, and then they had us have another bathroom break again, and then the other half comes. Math. This was probably the worst part of the test, because every single math question that they had on there, well, not every single one, but almost like about 90% of the math problems out there, they never taught us in school. Like, I did understand like what ratios and stuff like that were, like percentages and all that. I mean, that was you know, that's child's play. But then there's also stuff like find the standard deviation of this ratio. And I'm like, what even is this nonsense? And then I find out that it's not even stuff they even teach in junior high. In fact, it's actually stuff they teach sophomore high schoolers. And I'm like, what's the point of having a test when they're not challenging you on what you know? Isn't that the whole point of a test? So then finally, when the third section is over, then the fourth section hits. This is probably the worst part of the test. The first question is pretty simple. It's like, oh, is this equation equivalent to this equation? You know, it's pretty simple stuff. So then basically, after that happens, the second thing, it has a dot chart where it's like, you know, those charts that have like just nothing but dots and like a slur and all that stuff. I literally threw my arms at the test. I was like, boy. I was that confused and that upset with what happened. And then finally, when that section of the test over, that was probably the most stressful part of the test because I had literally no idea what they were even talking about. But I still did my best, and I used a valiant effort to do my absolute best on this test. So thank you, Mom. So, I'm so smart. Yeah. Just to be honest, I think I probably did pretty freaking horrible on that test, just to kind of be honest. I mean, it's just kind of funny how, like, you think you did good on a test, but then you find out you did absolutely horrible on it. That's basically me for math in a nutshell. Well, thank God there is such a thing as corrections. My math teacher is so nice. She's so sweet. I'm not even joking. And the thing about it is, it's honestly pretty good. I mean, I think my New Year's school's going to go pretty good for me, including my other friends. Like, for example, there's good old Figurative Fox. There's my good man, Dragons Gaming. And hey, yo, Jacob, if you're watching this video, I just want to tell you, I really miss you, dude. Like, I also miss you here. And you think, yeah, Drake, yeah, he's sort of a bit of a dick, like when he was in school. But I don't know, he's okay. So I hope you're having a good time where you're living, buddy. And just to kind of end off this video on a good note, I just want to say thank you for me almost hitting 50 subscribers. And I know 50 people doesn't sound like a whole lot, but to me it's like the equivalent of filling my entire room full of people, and it's really a good experience. I absolutely love it. It's so nice. And the funny thing about it is that I'm actually really happy is that just keep subscribing so that we can get more cancerous videos, so you can keep enjoying my horrible horrible content, just so I hope you guys can just have a decent time and also watching your videos. Also, here's another thing I have to teach you about Titanfall. My next story is actually not going to be about Titanfall. It's actually going to be about Overwatch. So expect some Overwatch footage and some danky Overwatch memes going on. You know, I remember the other day, it was just like, it's like you take it back to a time. And yes, I am padding out the time of the video, so don't get all antsy because I'm not making the video long enough. I'm horribly sorry that I'm not good enough for your standards, okay? Well, that's the end of this video, so I hope you guys all have a good time, and peace out, and have a good time. Sub for more cancer.